The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with the familiar hum of translator units as Ambassador Zekthar of the Vorthok Empire rose from his crystalline throne. His 6 eyes gleamed with barely concealed contempt as he addressed the assembly. Esteemed members, his voice carried across the vast chamber, we gather today to discuss the amusing petition from the human settlement known as the Orphan Fleet. Laughter rippled through the council chambers. Musical trills from the Melodians, guttural chuckles from the Chronari, and sharp chittering from the insectoid Zephyrite. The humans' representative, a middle-aged woman named Captain Elena Rodriguez, remained motionless in her simple gray uniform, her weathered hands folded calmly in her lap. Orphan Fleet, Ambassador Lyriel of the Celestial Dominion repeated, her ethereal voice dripping with amusement. How quaint. Children playing at being spacefaring civilization. Zekthar nodded, his mandibles clicking in satisfaction. Indeed, these humans dare to request official recognition and protection under galactic law, they who are nothing more than the unwanted refuse of their own homeworld. The story behind the Orphan Fleet was well known throughout the galaxy, though few understood its true significance. When Earth had first achieved faster-than-light travel, humanity had been eager to join the galactic community. But space was expensive, and Earth's governments could only fund so many colonial expeditions. The Orphan Fleet had been Earth's solution to their surplus population of parentless children. Decommissioned military vessels retrofitted as generation ships, loaded with orphans, basic supplies, and sent toward the galactic rim with a simple mission: survive and prosper. Most species had considered it barbaric. The Vorthok had called it disposing of genetic waste. The Melodians had composed mournful songs about humanity's cruelty. Even Earth's own government had quietly distanced themselves from the project after the initial launch. That had been 57 years ago. Captain Rodriguez finally spoke, her voice cutting through the laughter like a blade through silk. Distinguished delegates, the Orphan Fleet formally requests recognition as a sovereign entity under Article 7 of the Galactic Accords. Sovereign entity? Zekthar's laughter was a harsh rasp. You represent what? A few dozen ramshackle ships filled with the descendants of Earth's unwanted? Your entire civilization could fit in one of our dreadnought hangars. Perhaps, Rodriguez replied calmly. You should ask Commander Thane about the size of our ships. A ripple of confusion passed through the chamber. Commander Thane was the Vorthok Empire's most decorated military officer, currently leading their expansion into the Outer Rim territories, the same region where the Orphan Fleet had been sent decades ago. Zekthar's eyes narrowed. What does Thane have to do with... His words were cut off as an aide rushed to his side, pressing a communication device to his ear. As the seconds passed, Zekthar's confident posture slowly crumbled. His skin shifted from its natural blue to a pale green, and his 6 eyes widened in what could only be described as shock. Impossible, he whispered. Rodriguez smiled, the first expression she'd shown since entering the chamber. Commander Thane encountered our outer picket lines 3 days ago. His report should be illuminating. The chamber's main display screen flickered to life, showing the scarred face of Commander Thane. Behind him, the bridge of his flagship was filled with smoke and emergency lighting. Council members. Thane's voice was strained. I must report. House miscalculation regarding the human Orphan Fleet. My task force of 12 dreadnoughts encountered what we believed to be a small scouting group. Instead, we found... He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. We found a fleet of over 300 vessels, each one larger than our dreadnoughts. Ships built from asteroid mining platforms powered by harvested stellar energy, and armed with weapons that shouldn't exist. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. The Melodians' harmonious voices cracked. The Zephyrite's chittering rose to a near-deafening pitch. Thane continued. They didn't attack us. They simply appeared from nowhere. Their stealth technology is beyond anything in our databases. Their ships phase in and out of normal space like ghosts. And their leader... He swallowed hard. Their leader is someone called Admiral Sarah Chen. She was 7 years old when the orphan fleet launched. Rodriguez stood slowly, her gray uniform suddenly seeming less simple and more like the dress uniform of a military power. Admiral Chen sends her regards, council members. She wanted me to inform you that the orphan fleet has been very busy these past 57 years. You see, Rodriguez continued, walking to the center of the chamber, when you throw away your children, you shouldn't be surprised when they learn to survive without you. When you abandon them in the harshest region of space, you shouldn't be shocked when they become harder than the vacuum itself. And when you mock them for being orphans, her voice grew cold as starlight, you shouldn't assume they'll remain weak forever. She gestured to the display, which now showed long-range scanner readings. Hundreds of massive energy signatures were distributed throughout the outer rim, each one representing a ship that dwarfed anything in the known galaxy. The children you cast away spent 57 years learning to strip mine asteroids with their bare hands. They learned to build with materials so exotic that our ships exist partially outside normal space-time. They learned to survive on nothing and create everything from the void itself. Ambassador Lyriel's perfect composure finally cracked. What do you want? Rodriguez's smile returned, but it was no longer warm. Recognition, protection under galactic law, and reparations for 57 years of illegal abandonment of sentient beings. Zekthar tried to regain his authority. You cannot threaten the Council. Who's threatening? Rodriguez interrupted. Admiral Chen was very specific about this. The orphan fleet seeks peaceful integration into galactic society. However, she paused meaningfully. If that integration is refused, they're perfectly content to continue their expansion into the outer rim. There are many valuable systems out there, many species who might appreciate protection from aggressive neighbors. The implications hung in the air like a sword. The outer rim bordered every major power's territory. If the orphan fleet controlled it, they controlled the galaxy's future expansion. Commander Thane's voice came through the display once more. Council members, I must stress, their youngest ship commander is 43 years old. They've been fighting pirates, stellar phenomena, and worse for over 5 decades. They don't think like us. They think like survivors. And now they have the tools to make everyone else survive on their terms. The vote was unanimous. As Rodriguez prepared to leave the chamber, Zekthar couldn't resist one last question. Why? Why seek recognition now? You clearly don't need our protection. She turned back to him, and for a moment, he saw past the diplomat to the child who had once been abandoned to the stars. Because even orphans, she said quietly, sometimes want to come home. The chamber fell silent as Earth's children at last claimed their place among the stars.